Hey guys, so also earlier tonight I went and saw Molly's Game. That was the last of the new releases that are basically awards movies that came out this past weekend. Like I said, it was Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Darkest Hour, and also, like I said, and Molly's Game. This was a movie that I didn't really have much interest going into, other than that, I knew who was directing it because that's what pretty much was the selling point for the fucking movie. It was being directed by Aaron Sorkin. He's a guy who's made wrote such TV shows as The West Wing, and wrote movies such as Social Network and like Steve Jobs stuff. Like, he's made a lot of critically acclaimed screenplays. He writes a lot of great shit. He's always been known to be writing really great shit. And this was his first time directing a movie alongside writing it, too. And so that was a pretty big deal. A lot of people, of course, as soon as, to no surprise, he's been getting as much critical acclaim for his first directing job as he has been getting for his screenwriting jobs. So I was like, all right. It didn't look terrible. The more I read about the story of Molly's Game, I was like, that kind of sounds interesting of a story. Like I said, I didn't know much about the story going in, other than the basics of it. And I love Jessica Chastain and Idris Elba. Like, hell yeah, good cast and everything. And this movie was a fucking genuine surprise because I'm kind of I walked out of this movie going, I am so glad I waited till the end of January to do my top 10 list, because if I would have made that top 10 list before I saw movies like this and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, I would have been fucking pissed. Because this is, alongside Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, this is easily one of the best films I've seen all year. Damn, this was a good movie. This was definitely a pleasant surprise, and it's one of those movies that, like Darkest Hour, it's carried by a fucking great performance, but also it has a damn good story to it, an interesting story. I'm sure that's like I said with Hollywood and true stories is partially fabricated, but it's also still goddamn interesting, and it doesn't seem too far-fetched. A lot of the shit that happens in this movie did really happen. It is based off a real person. Jessica Chastain is really fucking good in this movie, and definitely deserves a fucking nomination in a really crowded Best Actress category, which I don't see her probably winning, but if she won, I wouldn't be fucking against it at all, because her performance in this movie is fucking great. She plays this... Molly Bloom was this character who, at first, from the tabloids, and the movie makes out a lot of the tabloids, and the media made her out to be this kind of really terrible person, but the movie does a really good job of making her really likable and showing that she was actually a really good person that just got mixed in with did some stupid shit that got her almost convicted and put in jail for a pretty good long time. She started out with started out doing this gambling stuff with well intentions, but slowly but surely started getting involved in drugs, and that kind of clouded her judgment on doing, and also made her kind of forget her morals, that started doing things that she was against doing in the first fucking place. It's one of those kinds of movies. Somebody gets in their way, they become successful, and they kind of get in way over their heads, and slowly but surely they start a downward slope. And Jessica Chastain's fucking great. She is one sassy fucking lady. She plays sassy as hell, fucking very well. And this Molly Bloom is a character that doesn't take no shit from anybody, but also is very caring and actually kind of gives a shit about her clients to the point she will not give up. Which is something I think is really cool, that she will not give up her clientele because it would ruin their lives. Because this movie is one of the funniest parts of this movie is you're trying to figure out, because they will not name the names of her clients. They just give them fake names throughout this movie. She explains at the beginning that all the characters in this movie are given fictionalized names to cover who they are really in real life, and except for her own. And because she had clientele that were big name Hollywood actors, sports stars, big millionaire tycoons, yada yada yada. She explains that that she was having it involved in these gambling games, or these poker games that she was running in LA and New York. And she I give her credit, because she would not give up. She was hell-bent on not giving up those names, like I said, because she would ruin their lives, and she wanted to maintain the integrity of her name and who she was, even to the bitter end, even though she could face jail time if she didn't. It portrays her as a great character. Like I said, Jessica Chastain's fucking great in this movie. She's just plays this role really fucking well. I love that scene at the beginning where her they explained she was like a really good freestyle skier originally in college, and almost went to the Olympic Games, but because of her scoliosis and a horrible accident she had during one of her practice runs. No, it's actually one of her qualifying runs she had to try to get into the Olympics. She had a horrible accident, and it basically, her scoliosis got re-aggravated. She had basically all these pins and needles in her back and spine from when she was little, and this accident pretty much re-aggravated everything that she got fixed, and from her scoliosis. And so she, they explained how she went from that to end up running her own gambling ring. And like I said, I love the line at the beginning where she's talks about there was a poll taken about what is the hardest thing, what's the most disappointing thing to happen to somebody in sports, and they said something about or the worst thing to happen to somebody in sports, and she says somebody actually said that going in fourth ending up in fourth place in the Olympics is one of the worst things to happen to somebody in sports. And she said, anybody who said that, fuck you. That's exactly what she said. I died. I actually thought that was a pretty funny line. Idris Elba's great as her lawyer that takes her on when she's indicted by the government for illegal gambling, because and he at first doesn't really want to take her on because of what he sees in the tabloids and what he read in her books. He thinks she's kind of not a good person, but he finds out that he's wrong about her, and he hears her life story and ends up taking her on. Man, sorry. I'm losing my voice today. I've not been feeling good. He ends up taking her on, and he's really goddamn good. I love Idris Elba as that actor. He always has been a fucking great actor. He even got Kevin Costner's in this movie, and is really good in his short scenes he's in. He's Jessica Chastain's dad, who there's a really great scene between him and Jessica Chastain the end, pretty much about towards the end of the movie, where he has this really great conversation. They've always had a really rough relationship, and they haven't got along very well. And they finally have a conversation that seems pretty genuine and talk about their fucking problems. Like I said, the screenplay for this movie is really fucking well written. It was written by Aaron Sorkin, so it's going to be a really well written movie. I say he wrote and directed this movie, so he does a pretty goddamn good job on both ends, easily. Man, sorry, having a rough day here. I'm not feeling fucking great. So yeah, the hell else wants to talk about this movie? Oh, Michael Cera, like he is one of the people that is portraying a famous actor that they will not disclose who he is really playing. But man, he plays this terrible person, whoever he was supposed to be representing. A guy who likes to take other people's money at the poker games and isn't afraid to take it and just takes some enjoyment out of doing it. And he's really kind of a horrible person. And I was like, I'm really interested in who the fuck he was playing, who this person was. Only Molly Bloom and I think her lawyer knew who this person was. Also interested in who her lawyer was. Or not her lawyer was, but her boss, who ends up getting her involved in these gambling rings. Apparently he had to be pretty famous to, get involved in a poker game that involves some famous celebrities, so I'm kind of interested who that was supposed to represent. There's a few people here, like, I wonder who. There's a famous singer that hits on her. She gets hit on a lot. She, makes it a rule that she does not get involved romantically or sexually with any of her clients, and she commits to that rule completely. She also doesn't, prostitute any of her girls involved in her poker ring. She actually has some morals that she sticks by, even to the bitter end, even though she breaks some of those. Like I said, raking in some of the profits. That's what basically gets her convicted. Also, being involved with the Russian mafia also didn't help, unwillingly. Yeah, it's a great fucking story. It's a damn good story. It's a movie, like, if you don't know it going in, much about it going in, like, check it out, because it's kind of knowing, if you don't know much about the story, it's kind of fun to watch it, like, unfold in front of you. Also, I really liked how the movie ended and what ends up happening to her, as far as what the verdict in the trial is. And, like, I kept thinking throughout the whole beginning of this movie while I was watching it, like, really, what she did wasn't that fucking terrible. And I'm like, I was waiting for, like, a big reveal that she did something terrible with the Russian mafia or something. But you find out, really, no, she didn't really have much, didn't do really anything that fucking terrible to be given this big indictment that she was involved in. And I was like, yeah, she ran a legal gambling ring, did some illegal things, but there are a lot of people that have done a lot worse than this that haven't even fucking gotten as much jail time as she was facing. Not even fucking, I think child molesters fucking get as much, face as much jail time as she was. I think it was only 3.5 years, I think, at the minimum, but it's like, what the fuck, like I said, but it does have a satisfying conclusion. And I liked where the judge basically kind of, spoiler alert, kind of pretty much says the sentiments I was thinking throughout this movie, the majority of this movie. And it kind of was like, wow, I'm glad I wasn't the only person who was thinking this. Yeah, I highly fucking recommend this movie. Molly's Game was really fucking good. Definitely a surprise. I don't think this is even getting consideration for Best Picture. Like movies like Big Sick, Baby Driver, and shit like that, even fucking getting a consideration. That's fucking retarded. But like I don't control who the fuck gets nominated anymore and who doesn't. It's kind of sad. Yeah, sorry, who doesn't? But yeah, like I said, I highly recommend this movie. Go check it out while it's still in theaters, and make sure to support something like this. People go support good movies. I did get a few new trailers. Man, I want to get off here because I'm about losing my voice. Den of Thieves, I got a new trailer for that. It's a generic bank robbery movie with 50 Cent, Ice Cube's son, involved in a bank robbery gang, and Gerard Butler's a cop, ruthless cop who goes against the rules to try to get them. Yeah, whatever. It looks like your generic bank robbery movie if I've ever seen one. Gringo. This is like a weird dark comedy that's coming out. I got a fucking Red Band trailer in front of this that had all the cussing. It's Charlize Theron and Joel Edgerton are this married couple who own this pot business where they sell like a pill that is in pot, or this pot that's in pill form. Which, holy shit, that would be fucking massive if somebody ever invented that. And he unwillingly involved this guy to get involved in taking some of the drugs to Mexico, and he ends up getting kidnapped, and hijinks ensue. It looks like more of a comedy than like a drama, but it looks like more of a black comedy, which I'm all for. It looked kind of funny. And then the last one I got was the 1517 to Paris. This is the first time I got this trailer. I keep seeing this poster a lot, and I was wondering, what the hell is this? It's directed by Clint Eastwood. It's a movie about a terrorist attack that happened on a train. There's been so fucking many in Paris. The train in Paris. It's about the people that fought back against these terrorists that were hijacking this train. And the thing that's being selling this movie is that it's involving the actual survivors of this, the actual people that fought these terrorists on this train, the actual people that, I think they were Americans that were involved in it. And I was like, that's interesting. That could go one of two ways. That could either be really good or really bad because they're not trained actors. So who knows? Maybe it'll be good. I love Clint Eastwood as a director, so I'll still go see it one way or another. Because I love Clint Eastwood. Pretty much everything he fucking does. He makes some shitty movies here and there, but he also makes some pretty goddamn good movies too. So I can't complain. Yeah, that's as far as trailers and Molly's Game go. Next week, it's looking like Paddington 2, which I still gotta see the first one. Which I guess I'll have a brief review of that. In that review, The Commuter and The Post. That's all that I know for sure is coming out next week. I don't know if any other Oscar-nominated films or big award movies are going to be coming next week. I won't know until probably tomorrow. But until then, I'll talk to you guys later.